All right, everybody. So I went and did a thing, and the reason why I have this one pictured right here is because I basically got its brother from another mother, this guy. Um, and so the reason why I had done that, for anybody that may be asking, is I want to get a true blue comparison between these two trucks. One is I love this style of truck. Call it a truggy, call it a stadium truck, call it a monster truck, whatever. I just like this style of trucks. I like the wings on them. I like the longer truck body. I overall am fascinated with these types of trucks, and so I got in this Sledge and I liked it so much that I just wanted to get its Arrma counterpart. And it's basically because, I mean, you can see the local hobby shop I deal with, they primarily do sell a lot more Traxxas vehicles than Arrma vehicles. But, I mean, you can see here, I have an Arrma vehicle here. I have one that's hanging up that's kind of pointed out over there, one right above it. But I only had just those two, per se. And I'd been on the fence about whether or not to get one of these. I'd heard some pros about them. I'd heard some cons about them. I just wanted to see what all the fuss was about, though, honestly. And so here goes. It's going to be kind of a video where I talk about. It's going to be kind of a little bit of a review on this vehicle, but then I'm going to kind of do some comparisons between these two vehicles, kind of giving, what makes this vehicle, in my opinion, a little bit better than that vehicle, but also some things that this vehicle has that make it kind of superior to this one. Because in all honesty, and you'll see why in a minute, there's not really a winner between the two, if I'm going to be honest, and I'll explain why. So first off, let's go into, I do like kind of the way the body is held on this vehicle. I also like the way the body is held on that vehicle, but I'm going to kind of show you. I mean, you have this little tab right here. You just kind of push down on it like so. Pops up the back. And then you just kind of do the same on the front side here. You push it down right here. It releases the front, and then the body pops off. Structure-wise, I mean, I like it. It's pretty robust, pretty sturdy. You've got some good support here in the middle. You've got some vent holes cut into it and everything else for good airflow. And the way the mechanism is made and everything else, I mean, it's just, it holds the body on pretty secure overall. And so, yeah, good job, Arrma. Moving on, we have this little waterproof case. I've already pulled it apart. It's different from Traxxas in that it's not really an O-ring. It's more of a rubber gasket that they use to seal the lid. When you pop this up, you undo these little 4 screws here, and you pick this up, and there's a gasket on the inside of it as opposed to an O-ring. And so the gasket seems to stay secure a little bit more. So that's an improvement. I like the fact that they put cooling fans on both the ESC and the motor here. You've got this gigantic heat sink, and you've got this little fan that just does a great job of getting heat off the motor, which this thing does get pretty hot, to say the least. There's another indicator right there, the chassis. On this particular model, this is the EXB. So it is a little bit more. Retail for that vehicle is about $800. For this one, it's about $830. But moving on, you've got all sorts of different parts. You've got these sway bars that are equipped with the vehicle, which I did some research. They are equipped with the standard Kraton 6S as well. But you've got these aluminum diff housings. You've got a higher grade aluminum shock tower front and rear. You've got a pretty strong and surprisingly fast servo for this vehicle. I mean, it swings these tires back and forth at a pretty decent rate, if I do say so, and I like that. One of the things I also like about this vehicle, that's also a part of the regular 6S Kraton, in case you're wondering, is these adjustable toe links. and these adjustable upper camber links on the rear. And the reason why I like that is because I like to dial in the suspension. If you've ever driven at higher speeds, you know you don't want your front wheels towed out. You want them to tow in a little bit so that way when you're hitting those higher speeds, it straightens this vehicle out. And the same thing, you want to add a little bit of camber to a little bit of negative camber to the rear of this vehicle, and it handles outstanding. And so, other than that, I mean, aluminum chassis, very similar to that vehicle. You've got lots of bracing. I would say probably superior to what the Sledge has, but either way. And like I said, the biggest thing is you have a programmable ESC on this, which is a major improvement over what the Sledge has, because that Traxxas ESC, it has no programmability. You've just got your different modes for it, so forth. You've got a metal servo horn on this servo. You've got, I mean, just aluminum galore throughout this thing. And then you've got these battery straps. So it allows you to use a wide variety of different batteries. So you don't necessarily have to use the Spectrum batteries. I did because, well, I mean, I needed batteries for this thing. And I like being able to access the telemetry. So with all that I get with the Spectrum batteries, the smart batteries, you get all the smart features. Yada, yada, yada. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell. I mean, you've got these dog bone axles, but I mean, I'm just kind of going through over the Oh, one other thing. I forgot. So I get this up here, one-handed. These little dust covers on the shocks. Can't begin to tell you just how much of an improvement that basically keeps dirt off of the shock shafts, and it's going to drastically preserve the life of these shocks in the long run, because you're going to keep you're going to keep any kind of dirt off the shock shafts on these shocks. The other thing that's pretty cool as well is if you look right here, you've got a little screw sitting on the top right here. And what that is, that's a bleeder. So if you ever want to change the shock oil on this thing, it makes it very easy and a lot less messy to go ahead and bleed your shocks out. And so, thank you for that, Arrma. So, that's kind of a bit of all the bells and whistles on this thing. A lot of the pros over this. I mean, the fact that it comes with sway bars. The fact that it comes with a much faster servo. The fact that it comes with a programmable ESC. The fact that it comes with cooling fans already, a heat sink and cooling fans already on the motor. And the fact that it comes with, just the little stuff like that. The improvements on the shocks and things of that nature. That's all things that I do like about this truck. And I have driven it. I mean, you can see it's got some dirt on the tires already. And else, I have driven this thing. It's a lot of fun to drive. That said, here's one of my major cons about it. These guys. The tires, they grip well, but at higher speeds, they balloon up, and that is because they are not belted. They're just a standard tire. They're not very, it's not a very hard compound. So when you get this thing up at higher speeds, it saw blades that tire pretty decent, and it makes this thing very squirrely. And so I don't know about anybody else out there, but I know how hard I've had to work for my money. And when I'm driving something like this, I am very scared of wrecking something like this, to be honest. I don't want to, I don't want to take it around the box and go clip a mailbox and destroy this thing in my first run. And so I'm very cautious with stuff like that, but that's something that, for me, is a major con for this vehicle. So that will be part of the upgrade process. So that's one thing that the Sledge has going for it that this doesn't, is the fact that it, belted tires, not belted tires. This vehicle's a lot more stable to drive than this vehicle because of that. One of the other things that I find that I kind of that I also like about the Sledge is back there. If you look on the control arms, those little stick stoppers, I can't tell you just how much dirt and trash and stuff like that it keeps out of there. Don't necessarily know if that's going to be an issue with this guy, but it hasn't been an issue with that guy. And the only other thing about it really if I'm gonna be honest, is overall that's about it. There's not really a whole lot that is basically less than on this truck than that truck. Overall, which one do I prefer? Driving them, it's kind of a dead heat. I find this one is a little bit faster overall, but I find that one handles better. They both drive superb. This one just seems to drive. It just seems to hold the road a little bit better and hold itself in a straight line a little bit better. And at full speed, this one definitely holds itself to the ground better. It definitely seems to have better traction. I think that's got a lot to do with the tires on it, if I'm being honest. But overall, I mean, they're both phenomenal trucks. They're both around the same price range, and so, I mean, honestly, we're just kind of splitting we're kind of splitting hairs here. I mean, there's a lot of other videos comparing these two particular vehicles. Some of it's, I've been toning down the differentials on this thing. Don't plan to anytime soon. But from what I've seen is the Sledge has larger differential gears, but they're straight cut. These are smaller, but they're spiral cut. Take that with you will. The motor mount setup on this one seems to be a little bit more preferred because you just have these two screws right here that you can loosen up and you can slide this motor back and forth. I mean, it's very well machined, and so it moves that you can really fine tune the mesh on this thing. Whereas that one, you've got to access it from underneath. You've got 4 screws and you've got to basically move the whole motor mount and the motor back and forth. But yeah, which one's easier to work on? They both have their own issues. I find the fasteners on this Traxxas vehicle are a little bit easier to undo versus the Arrma one that they use a shit ton of Loctite to hold everything together. But like I said, this is all just splitting hairs. For the money, honestly, you can't go wrong with either one of these vehicles. They both kind of have proprietary stuff. It might be a little bit easier to find batteries. Well, I'm gonna be honest, you can find batteries for either one because they make adapters, they make connectors. Because this Traxxas ID plug that this vehicle comes with can easily accept the old Traxxas HD connector. This one is an IC5 connector, but it can easily it's backwards compatible and takes the EC5 connector. So either way, you can't go wrong, folks. And I'm not going to choose a winner here because there's not really a winner. To me, the winner is the one that puts the bigger smile on your face, and both of these put a huge smile on mine. So to me, it's kind of a wash. And so by all means, please, if you like this video, give it a like. If you feel up to it, subscribe. But most importantly, everybody, please leave me a comment. And as always, happy RCing, everybody.